Welcome to Colin's Garage. What am I doing today? Today, we are going to take the tail lights from the parts car, these ratty pieces of crap, and we're going to refurbish them and turn them into brand new, almost brand new, tail lights for less than $5. And what you're going to learn here is how you can take rubber trim like this that's meant to seal, that you don't get to see very well, and turn it into almost brand new rubber that works just fine. So join me as we put this together and I show you how to bring old rubber back to life. Welcome to Tin Horse Restoration. What we need for this is how I do it. Flat white. We don't paint with colored paint here. We use a flat base. Matte clear to go on top. Some cleaning products with a little bit of abrasion in them. Sponge. And a can of Plasti Dip. Okay, we're gonna start here by carefully removing the rubber. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you get this out of here without leaving chunks of it behind. You don't want to be doing any chemicals or anything like that, because you don't want to be having that. This rubber, believe it or not, tends to be a little porous, and most of them that I've seen are glued in here with some sort of sticky contact cementy stuff or something. Anyway, if you're gentle, you can get this rubber out of here fairly easily. So you might ask yourself, oh, why don't you just buy new rubbers? You know, Kentucky Mustang, CJ Pony, they all sell these things. And that's true. But this is a perfect example of where you can save a few bucks. And over the course of an entire restoration, this stuff adds up. I mean, I don't know what these rubbers are worth. I'm sure somebody's gonna look it up. But I don't see any reason to replace something. Anybody can restore a car by throwing money at it. What I'm trying to show you is how to put a car back together the old-fashioned way, like we used to do when we were kids, when these things weren't, you know, some of these things you could buy from Ford, but the pricing from Ford was crazy. OEM parts. And then when those parts went away, aftermarket companies came on board and started making stuff. But for a long time, I grew up in an era where a lot of parts you couldn't get, or they were difficult to get, or they were expensive to get. And luckily with Mustangs, we've watched the prices come down on some things over the years because of availability. So, somebody got a little blue happy here at the top. All right, there we go. Pulled it out. I didn't leave any behind. I got it all out nice and clean. It's all one piece. And is it in great shape? No. Is it fixable? Absolutely. I'm going to show you how you can do that. It's really quite easy. Okay, so I'm going to pick this glue off, pop these lenses out. I'm going to wash these up. I got a little bit of soapy water here. I've got a little bit of Comet for the for the housing for the rear lens. But there you go. You can see there, other than a little bit of rust staining, this is pretty much intact. There's no big chunks missing out of it or anything like that. Now, obviously, if it's gone beyond that point, then, you know, fixing it is going to be a problem, and that's when you buy new ones. But for something like this, that no one's going to see, and all it has to do is perform the job of sealing the rear taillight, this is going to work perfectly. So we'll toss that in there. I got some warm water here, and give that a couple of minutes. I'm going to pop this lens off delicately, because these tend to break really easy and be a pain in the butt. So I'll get back to you when I've got this apart. All right, most of you know, but some of you may not, all 71 to 73s are not all equal. And this is a chrome retainer that's chromed all the way around. And this one is blacked out. Now, for what I'm doing with this car and our purposes today, I'm going to be removing the black and using the chrome. So instead of, for the purpose of making this video, instead of cleaning this one up and a little bit of lacquer thinner and steel wool polishes that up great, I had this set sitting around that I've already polished and removed the black. So I'm going to use those for today's purposes, just to speed things up. But it's quite easy to take that apart and remove the black from it. I'm doing that because this is a cooler look. These are one of these fine little details that, you know, Mustang people know, you know, which belongs on which car and what year is what and everything else. And, you know, I'm sitting here at 63 with a mind that fades. So do I remember exactly who got black and who got chrome? No, I don't. I think this was 73 and this was 71, 72. If I remember correctly, I think they went to this one. I might be wrong. Anyway, I'm sure someone will correct me. You guys love getting it right. So I couldn't care less. To me, the chrome looks better. So I'm going to stick with the chrome. That looks like crap, and you're constantly having to clean it when you're you know, cleaning your car and trying to make it look nice. This is, you know, you hose it down and just give it a little wipe and it comes up beautiful. That looks way better than that, in my opinion. So we're going to go with this, and that's what we're going to do for our car. Is it concourse correct? I don't care. I really don't care. I'm honoring the 71 to 73s. I'm not radically changing anything. It's no different than somebody putting 72 stripes on their 73 because they like the hockey sticks better. You know, or switching the front grille because they like the front grille better, because the grills change from 71, 72, and 73. The 73 marker lights go north and south, when on the 71, 72 they're horizontal. You know, is it concourse correct? No, but you do what works for you, what you like. It's no different than somebody putting a NASA scooped hood on a convertible. I'm not going to be doing that because it's not in the budget. I have a hood, a standard hood, and that's what we're going to use. But, you know, you're building your car. You build it the way you want to build it. To me, that chrome looks awesome. That's what I'm going to go with. So that's what we're going to do. So there's your lens out. There's kind of, most of you who have done this before know what happens. This is like a contact cement that balls up. And you can pick away at it. For the purpose of this video, there's an example. I'm not gonna bother doing that right now. These two pieces are glued together. They have to be carefully pried because those lenses break easily. If you can see here, this lens has a piece missing up in the corner, which no one's gonna see once the rubber goes on. So I'm just gonna ignore it. Who cares? Let me clean up the back part because I'm gonna show you what it looks like when I paint it. And we'll go from there. All right, I've picked most of the glue off. And to be honest, I'm not gonna get too picky here. But I wanted to show you the condition of this. I gave it a little bit of a scrub down. And I would say that this one is salvageable. So there's no big cracks or breaks in it or anything like that. And if you do have a crack that's fixable, you can always contact cement that crack together, as long as there's no rubber missing. Anyway, you can see here, there's a little bit of rust damage that's soaked into it, but there's no chunks missing from this or anything like that. There's a little bit of roughness on the edge here where I picked at it, but that's gonna disappear in a minute. So I'm gonna hang it on here backwards. We're gonna do the back first, and we're just gonna give this a little spray with the Plasti Dip. So we'll do the back first, and the key to this is not to lay it on super thick. Just give it a good little coat. The hardest part of this is watching this dry, honestly. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit, and then we're gonna come back to it. Okay, so I'm giving this I put a little comment on here, and I'm giving it a little scrub. A little bit of abrasive doesn't hurt. Gets all the dirt out of it, and or helps anyway. And we don't have any chemicals to worry about. So let me finish up here, wash it off, and get the heat gun on. All right, a little bit of brake clean. I shot it in here onto the contact cement, rubber cement, whatever it is, and it chews it up pretty good, and then I just scrape it out. So I'm letting it soak right now, but let me finish that up, and we'll be ready to start painting. All right, see in here? Once you put a little brake clean on it and you loosen it up a little bit, you throw some Comet on it, and you take the scrubby to it, and it just peels it right out of there. No more glue. Cleaned up enough for what we're doing. So the only thing I've got left here is I've got a little dollop of, it looks like undercoating or tar or seam sealer or something got sloppy. So I'm gonna have to get the little bit of sandpaper, clean that up, and we'll be ready to paint. Okay, you see here, this is the back side of our rubber, and she's pretty much dry. So we're gonna flip her over, and we're gonna start spraying the good side. So just make sure you give your Plasti Dip a good shaking. Nice thin coat. That's what we're looking for here. Now you can see here where it's, my lighting's terrible, where it's smoothing right out, and over here where we had a little rust damage, we're a little bumpy. That's gonna go away the more coats that we build up on it. So we just keep building them up until we get it nice and smooth. Like that. So let me do a couple more coats and then you'll see what I mean. Okay, there's our light. Worst of it's all gone. I got that little dollop of it. Turned out it was just rubber cement. Somebody got wacko crazy in that joint and dripped it everywhere. That's why it makes me laugh when people do perfect concourse restorations and you know, they put the glue on perfectly and everything. They didn't make the cars that way. Look at that chunk of glue that was oozing out of that thing that was on, you know, had been on that car for 50 years. Anyway, overspray, everything else that's on here, it's all cleaned up. Comet is your friend, really. A little bit of brake clean, and then you throw some Comet on top of it with a sponge or a brush, a little hand brush, and go at it. And the abrasive in the Comet works with the brake clean and really eats into just about anything. So I'm just gonna give this another couple of minutes so I can find my heat gun. You know, nothing like being prepared when you make a video. Anyway, I think it's downstairs. I was stretching vinyl with it. So anyway, it's all cleaned up and it's ready to go. Now I'm going to use how I paint. Let me show you here. Has anybody tried this 7-Up Zero Sugar cranberry? This is really good. I kind of like that. Anyway, this is how Colin paints. And if you watched one of my other videos, you got a hint of this already. So I got Rust-Oleum here. Let me get to the English side. We have English and French here, see? Just in case you're wondering. There's the French side. Everything's written in French. And there's the English side. So I use matte clear. I don't want shine. And flat white. And make sure that you use a paint that's also bonds to plastic. That is a key. Don't be shooting this with Tremclad or some other thing that takes forever to dry. And why do I do a flat white first or a flat black on some of the other parts and then put clear on top? Because I put 2 coats of white on if it needs it. Usually when I'm doing black, I get away with 1. And then I put 2 or 3 really light coats of clear on top. And then what happens is if you get a scratch, you're not removing the paint. You don't get this ugly mark, you know. It'll stand up to quite a bit more than if you just give this 1 coat of white paint where you scratch it and all that dirty black is going to start showing through. So that's how I like to do it. You know, call me crazy, but that's the way I paint. And the other part is both of these dry very quickly. So if you're working on a project and you don't want to wait 24 hours, you know, for you know, if you've used Tremclad or something and it takes 12 hours or 24 hours, and then you have to wait to put a second coat on and blah. Like, talk about making the whole process painful. This is the way to go. Dries in minutes. You put second coats of clear on in 15 minutes. Don't build it up too much, but once it dries and it cures, it's not some heavy, thick, soft lacquer that you could dig your nail into. This stuff really works, and that's the way I like to do it. I mean, stopping short of using automotive paint, this is the way to go. This is my experience has always been. I've got a gas tank on the floor over there that is going to Marvin that I painted the exact same way. Put 3 coats of flat black on it, very light coats, and then I did 3 or 4 coats of clear on top, light coats, and it's a beautiful kind of matty semi-gloss kind of finish. It's not shiny at all. It doesn't look thick and gooey. It doesn't have that thick painted look. It looks factory. So anyway, there's your little secret tip for today. I'm still spraying my Plasti Dip. And yes, that's the 95 up on jack stands because the motor's lying over there on the floor and it's not in. And yeah, that's the new bumper that I bought that you probably don't even know about yet. And then that's all the other parts for the car piled on top. Here's more parts for the 95. Let's not talk about that right now. Let's get this taillight done. All right. The bonus too of doing it in the flat. See that little goober there? I could go back once this is dry in a couple minutes and I can sand that off. We give it a light coat for the first coat and go back and address any areas that we don't like the look of. We're gonna spray the inside as soon as this dries. Get the inside done. And then you can always, if you've got some blow through there on the light bulb holes, you can always tape those over. You don't want it wrecking your finish, but to be honest, it really doesn't matter because we're gonna clear coat it after. Okay, there we go. Got one coat on there. We'll take two to hide all the little imperfections, but we're getting there. All right, there's a coat on our inside. And we'll just let that dry. Another little trick you can do if you're going with traditional lights and you're not doing LEDs and you're worried about it not being very bright, paint the inside of this with a chrome paint. No one's gonna see it with the red lens over it, but if you put a paint on there that reflects more light, you'll definitely get a slightly brighter light when you step on the brakes. So if you're using an 1157 bulb and you're going the traditional route, that's a neat little trick to make it just a little bit brighter. I think Rust-Oleum has a chrome paint. I think everybody's got a chrome paint. So yeah, just tape off the outside here, spray the inside chrome, and she'll reflect a little better. There's my gas tank all painted up in flat black and matte clear. Oh, got a little scratch. Anyway, there you go. A little bit of silver on the neck. And the gas cap ready to go. Told you, I got lots of parts done already from Marvin, so hopefully that'll go together a lot quicker. There's our wheel well for Project Bruno. And what's coming in an upcoming video is I'm going to be taking that door and I'm going to be fixing that mess. We're going to be replacing all that rusted metal. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys that one. Okay. You can see here we're starting to dry. And it's starting to smooth out a little bit. And we're just going to keep going until we get the look that we want and that we're happy with it. And you'll see as you put on each coat, you'll watch the areas that were bumpy start to smooth out a little bit. See, it'll just start getting smoother and smoother. That was a good side. It's tough with black and the lighting in here, and when it's wet, it's reflective, so it shows every nook and cranny. This is our problem area right here, where we had a little bit of rust damage. So we're just gonna keep at that corner and keep working that until we get it where we want it. But eventually, it's all gonna go smooth like that. And it's gonna almost be like a brand new piece. For what? $5 worth of Plasti Dip? I hardly using any, so this is a cheap way to save some money. And you know, for the purists, look at it this way. That's an OEM part. It's concourse correct. I know, I'm being a bit of a smartass, but hey. Okay, one thing I want to mention here on these rubbers. This car is more than 50 years old. So, you know, to put that in perspective, this rubber's never been changed. And I'm managing to salvage it. Now, you could argue that it's not going to be perfect, and you're right, it's not going to be perfect. But if you're doing a restoration or you're cleaning up a car that's already had a restoration, and maybe your rubbers have only been in there for 10 or 15 years, you give them one spray of Plasti Dip and they're going to look brand new. This, if I can save, you know, this 54-year-old piece of rubber was on 54, 53 to 72, but it was built in late 71. So, you know, if I can save that, imagine what a newer piece that doesn't have some of these flaws in it like this, how that would come up. Just one coat of Plasti Dip would make it look brand new. And if you say to yourself, well, the Plasti Dip's going to peel and, you know, it's going to fall off and it's going to stick to things, and it doesn't. And you know why I know it doesn't? Because I did it to my 73 back in 08, and they're still on there, and they look just fine, and they've been exposed to the weather and the elements. So, you know, that's not going to fly with me if that's going to be your complaint. I know it works just fine. If it's done properly, and this is prepped and the grease is removed, and it's dry, that's going to stick and just become part of the rubber itself. So that's your little tip for today. You know, if you're doing a restoration and you're trying to freshen up your car in certain areas, this is a great way to bring, you know, a solid color back and a nice finish to a decent piece of rubber. I'm saving something that, you know, in all honesty, is on the verge of going in the garbage. But you know what? It doesn't have any breaks in it. All right. This is the second one that I removed. I'm working on the second light while I'm waiting for the first one to dry here. Got my second coat on there, and I got my Plasti Dip coat on there, and they're starting to look really good. So I'm taking advantage of the time to get this done, so I get both of them done. But I'm telling you, this is the way to go. And I don't know if anybody else is doing this. I haven't seen any other videos. And granted, I didn't look very much, but I did do a couple of searches, and I didn't see anybody that was using this technique to bring rubber back to life. If you've got a nice set of rubbers on your door and you want them to be freshened up and to look nice, just pop the little plugs that pop them in, and take it off. You know, you unscrew it at the one end, take it off, give it a spray, clean it up, give it a spray, and put it back on, and it'll look like brand new. It really will. So that's your tip for the day. Okay, there we go. All finished up. Washed everything, washed the lenses. You see the rubber. It's got a nice, healthy finish on it. It's not sticky. It's not going to stick to the car. And there's, here, let me do this. Let's flip this one over. Show you the backside. All ready to go back in the car. Quite happy with those. So there's an easy way to save yourself some money I know I flashed up on the screen earlier in this on what it was cost. Let's see, you can see how nice that rubber came out. And let's face it, you don't even see this rubber. By the time it gets squeezed into the taillight panel, it's only the edge shows. And once it's under pressure, it's gonna look really good. So I know I showed a thing earlier where they were $25 each US. And by the time I did the conversion and paid for the shipping, was going to be like $133 for a new rubber. That's the pain that us Canadians go through when we're ordering. Anyway, there you go. All done. I hope you learned something. I hope me sharing helped you a little bit. But Plasti Dip is your friend, and it's a great way if you've got rubber that's in good condition. It's dull and faded, and you want it to have a fresh new look, because you want to put it on a new restoration. Just give it one coat of Plasti Dip. You'd be shocked at how nice it comes up. It's like brand new. I mean, this was bumped. These are 50-year-old rubbers. They're a little bumpy and uneven, and yet they've still come up looking perfect. A great compromise, excellent way to save money, and a way to keep your restoration under $10,000. That's the goal, and we're keeping at it.
It's story time with Colin now. Come gather round and see. He shares the tales of days gone by for you and all to be. The memories, they come alive like stars up in the sky. Each moment shines so bright and clear, you'll feel like you were there. Listen close and you will find the magic in his mind. Every story takes you far, like chasing shooting stars.
So let's get at it. Welcome to another edition of Storytime with Colin. That's right. And today, I have to mention this right now. I mean, I don't know when you guys are going to be watching this one, because I shoot these in advance sometimes. But the weather today is truly spectacular. I mean, it's like a July day, and we're in October. So for us up here in Canada, this is amazing stuff. Anyway, today, what I'd like to talk about today is because in the past couple of story times with Colin, we've been talking about, the cost of doing a classic car, and how, a lot of this car culture that currently exists doesn't make a lot of sense. So what I thought I'd do is, I've been talking about the high end of the scale and proper restorations and concourse restorations, compared to restoring a car, so that it's done properly and it's a reflection of your personality, and doing it on the cheap, and how that seems to be something that people have lost touch with to some degree. So what I wanted to do was break down where we're at with Project Bruno, because I think it's important to update that, because I'm sure most of you haven't watched every single minute of every single episode, so you probably missed a lot of the things that I've been talking about. But let me shut my window here. A little noisy. All right. So, So as you know, I consider myself a Facebook marketplace hound. I'm on there almost daily. I get ripped at work with all the guys because I spend so much time on Facebook Marketplace. So, when I wasn't looking for a car when Project Bruno came up, but I was starting the channel, and in the back of my mind, I had it that we were going to work on my '73 Fastback, and that I was going to, finish Marvin, and basically the entire channel was going to be built around those two things, because that's a lot of work for one guy who's got a full-time job. So I'm on auto parts delivery man this morning. It's Monday morning for me, and I'm on my first long delivery, so I thought I'd take advantage of this time to come on here and shoot some content. Not a lot of hours in the day for a guy like me, so I take advantage of every moment that I have. So anyway, when that opportunity popped up that Project Bruno was available, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I paid $1,000 for a shell and a parts car, and I didn't even see it. I just gave the guy the money and said I'll come pick it up, because I figured, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? There's got to be enough parts there that I can, get my $1,000 back, and I was willing to take the risk. And I'm glad I did. I got a hell of a deal. I got lucky that way. But if you spend every day on Facebook Marketplace and you go out and you there was 100 failures before I got lucky and got that one. So, it's all relative. Anyway. So, it cost me $1,000. That's 1,000 Canadian. Remember, we're talking, let's just firm that up for you Americans. I'm talking Canadian today, which is basically about 70 cents on the dollar for you. So maybe 71, 72. It depends what's going on in the markets that anyway. So yeah, just so that it's in perspective for you guys, that's $700 I got in this. So I've spent, I most of what I've done so far has been sweat equity. Tearing the car apart hasn't cost me anything. I got less than $100 in materials that between cutoff wheels and wire brushes and everything for cleaning the bottom of the car, and I got $90 in a tip over jig, and I've spent about $250 completely refurbishing my rear end. So I have $350, somewhere less than $500, so $1,500. So what I haven't done yet is I haven't finished stripping the parts car. I'm pretty close, but I've got all that stuff to take to the junkyard for scrap to see what I can salvage in scrap metal costs. So I figure I've probably got about $250 worth of stuff there. Scrap metal there, because I've got some other things I'm going to throw in. I got rotors. I did the brakes on the truck, So, Coyote, she's still running good. It's just shocking, Watch that video, Coyote go boom, because that was one hell of a day, I'll tell you. That's a story that'll go with that parts car that'll last for the rest of my life. So anyway, I figure I'm about $1,200 into this right now, and so we've got some more, costs that are coming up. We're missing front suspension parts, so we're gonna have to spend some money there, and we've got all our body panels because I had that little venture out to pick up the floor pans and everything else. I haven't added that into the price yet because I don't know how much of what I bought that day is going to end up on Project Bruno, and most of that stuff's going to end up on Marvin. I've got a trunk floor that I bought a while ago for Marvin. Those 2 full floor pans that I bought, I scored big time on that deal. Like, I did really well there. But they're going in Marvin. The rear valance, it might go on Marvin, it might not. I guess that rear valance will end up going on Bruno. But yeah, so I'm still looking for a passenger door. I've got 2 doors that I'm going to be working on. I think there's an upcoming video that's gonna come where I show you, I got 2 door bottoms in that hall of parts, and that's what I'm missing to finish off the doors that I've got. They were a mess. These 2 doors belonged, in the scrap pile, and I'm gonna save them. And I love doing stuff like that. I love proving a point. Where I say to you, I can do a car for less than $10,000, and everyone laughs and says, yeah, it's going to be a piece of oh, I'll have to beep that. Sorry, don't swear on this channel. But, yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not, because if you put a little sweat equity into it, and you learn how to do things properly, you can repair a door, and the door will be just as good as, a door that you're buying and have to spend a whole bunch of money on getting, soda blasted or dipped or whatever, cleaning the inside of. Oh, please, buy an old rusty set and fix them. You can get the rusty ones for next to nothing, and it's not that hard to fix, really. It might scare you a little bit. You say, I've never done this before. I'll tell you, watch that video when it comes out, and you'll see, because it's only the 3rd or 4th door I've ever done in my life. So, and it's probably it's testing my abilities to some degree, because it's the most work I've ever done on a door. Those are definitely the 2 of the worst doors I've ever seen. And the car came with a door, a new driver's door that was in really good condition. It needs to get, stripped, but I'm thinking of selling that door to knock some price off of the car, because the other 2 I got nothing. Maybe $30 worth of sheet metal in. So no, I'll probably keep it, because buy another one day. Anyway, that's your so that's where we're at price wise right now. I'll do another update in 4 or 5 more episodes and tell you where we're at, but we're hitting our targets so far, if not doing a little better. So I'm happy with the direction things are going. So final little update. I don't know if any of you paid attention to one of my earlier videos about the reason that I started this channel was to get off the couch, because I found I had gotten a little lazy. I had gone through a couple of tough things in my life, and I had put on a lot of weight, and I wasn't feeling good. And I needed something to motivate me, to get me off the couch, give me a long-term plan. And that's when I came up with the idea of going ahead with the channel. I had toyed with it for years, and ever since COVID, to be honest. But I thought it was time to get off the couch and get back to a healthy weight that I used to be at. And instead of being just a silly old fat man, I can be a silly old skinny man, I guess. So anyway, for anybody that cares, I'm all this extra activity that I'm doing. I started this off, and I'm embarrassed to say this. I truly am, but I'm a pretty open book. I don't hold anything back on this channel. So I started at 361. Yeah, it's embarrassing, but for a guy that used to weigh 180 pounds, that's embarrassing. But you know, I had a lot of health issues that I'm not going to get into, and that definitely set me back. But you know, they're behind me now, and I'm down. I'm in the 320s when you're watching this, so we're getting there. It's going to take a long time. I think the big question will be, will the car be finished before I get back to 180 pounds? Anyway, you know, the number one reason I'm doing this channel is to inspire you. So, you know, if I inspire you to get off the couch, I mean, what's the worst thing that's going to happen, right? A lot of you feel a little bit better about yourself. I can tell you that I got a lot more energy now that I've got a goal, and I push myself, and I work longer hours, and I feel much more positive about my life that I've got this project that I'm working on. So, you know, I hope that's motivation for you, because if I can do it, you can do it. And that's been the goal of this channel from day one. If I can do this, you can do this. Trust me. Don't feel that you can't. Put your mind to it and get at her. Hey, that's our new saying on here. I've had a couple of sayings, and some of the, you know, okay, so is definitely stuck. You know, get off the couch, kind of stuck. But my new favorite thing is putting a little bit of a Canadian twist on a, you know, on a southern recommendation. Get at her, eh? That's my new thing. Anyway, lucky for you, I'm almost back at the shop. So that's the end of today's story time with Colm. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something, and I hope I helped, and I hope I motivated you. Get off the couch. It's healthy. It's good for you. You know, get to work. All right, and get that carpet. You know, if you've got one, finish it, and if you don't have one and you've always wanted one, go get one. I'll cheer you on. Send me a text, a message in the thing. Go on Facebook. We got a Facebook page now. 10 Horse Restoration on Facebook. Go on Facebook. Message me. I'll send you a message rooting for you. I'll tell you. Post your pictures. Whatever you need me to do to motivate you. I can do that for you. All right? So anyway, as always, thank you for watching. It means the world to me. Go underneath the page on YouTube, and that little thumb that's sticking up, give it a little click. Last time I asked, I got way more clicks than I normally get. So do that favor for me. You know, give it the thumbs up. It's costs you nothing, and makes a difference for the channel. So you know, and if you've got somebody that's into cars and you think they might be interested in this, you know, share. What do you got to lose, right? Help me out. I'll help you out. We'll get there. We're gonna get there. Project Bruno. Anyway, talk to you soon.
Every story takes you far, like chasing shooting stars.
Lots of holes in the car today, and lots of hammering, and it's getting worse, not better. So an accordion. We should be playing the accordion music right now because it's very appropriate for. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe in the black background you'll start hearing our theme song because that looks like an accordion. There's most of the cancer gone. There's the panel I took out. So we've got that. And here's what we got to deal with on this side. Okay, that's me for today. Get at her, eh?